It's World War II. The Air Force pilots are in a desperate need of telling the time other than with a pocket watch. 5 brands, 4 German and 1 Swiss, supplies the military with the most legible and practical tool watches of the time. And today, we're looking at one of those watches. When you first look at a Laco, it may not excite you because it kind of lacks those contemporary elements that make the watch more appealing to the masses. This watch, for example, doesn't even have a brand logo. So a buyer might think, well, that could be anything. And this is precisely why understanding the history of such a brand is essential to understand this design language, to understand the importance of a brand like Laco. It is one of the few brands that has stayed true to its rich heritage. By the way, this video is sponsored by Red Army Watches. So if you're looking for a new watch, do check out their website. You also get a 10% off any watch when you use the discount code ABDULLAHCHANG at the checkout. In a nutshell, during the World War II, Air Force pilots were issued special watches that met a specific set of requirements. Requirements that weren't necessarily met with the traditional pocket watch. Essentially, the Germans were the first to come up with the design and transfer the pocket watch movements into these purely function-based tools that allowed the pilots to keep track of the time easily in the heat of the moment. The requirements were simple: large cases, extreme legibility, large crown, hacking feature, and long riveted leather straps. Type A format emphasized on the hours with the large Arabic numerals, whereas the Type B, which we're looking at today, its emphasis was on the minutes and the seconds by displaying the minutes larger than the hour numerals. These watches would be lent to the pilots and then later returned after the mission, which is why finding an authentic pilot's watch today is next to impossible. You can still find them on eBay, but knowing their authenticity can be a bit tricky, and also they're gonna be really expensive. Brands like IWC, Hamilton, Orient, and Seiko produce some of the best contemporary reinterpretation of the pilot watch. And even though IWC was one of the original 5 brands who introduced this design, today their watches are considered more of a luxury timepiece than a practical tool. Looking at this Laco wine, it looks like any other reinterpretation of the pilot's watch. But when you spend a few minutes with it, you start to understand why this is so special. The Laco wine 861893 comes in a 42mm case size with a thickness of 12.8mm, lug width of 20mm, and a lug-to-lug distance of a whopping 50mm. Now, the 42mm case with straight lugs does make this particular model wear extremely large on my 6.3-inch wrist, but if you, like me, can't pull off this watch on the wrist, you can find similar configurations in a variety of different case sizes. And just like the true pilot's watch of the 1920s, this watch also has FL23883 engraved on both the side of the case as well as on the solid case back, along with some other information. FL, flag number, I don't know how to pronounce that, means that it has an affiliation with professional aviation equipment. And then 23 indicates that it is a navigation tool, and 833 confirmed that this watch has been tested and was certified for use. This engraving was mandatory to be present on all certified watches before being handed out to the pilots. There are a few subtle elements that are added to this watch to make it look so good in person. And one of them is the domed sapphire crystal. Being a no-nonsense function-based navigation tool, the dial is devoid of any non-essential information, one being the brand logo. And instead of the shiny metallic applied markers, you have thick, dark, printed Arabic numerals and markers along with large diamond-shaped handset, perfectly contrasting the cream surface of the dial. A black triangle at 12 o'clock acted as a visual anchor, a reference point for a pilot to be able to read the time during intense action. Now, I haven't really tested that out myself, but I'm assuming that it worked. The most prominent and incredible feature of this variant is its lume. The entire dial is lumed with the Swiss Superluminova C3, the brightest lume in the range. This is an entirely different beast. The movement in this particular model is the Laco 24 Swiss automatic, which is essentially the ETA caliber 2824-2 Elabor, which is one of their better performing movements and is regulated by Laco to achieve an accuracy of -5 to +10 seconds per day, coming in with 38 hours of power reserve and a beat frequency of 28,800 vibrations per hour, creating a smooth sweeping seconds hand. This wouldn't be a true pilot's watch without hacking, which essentially means the seconds hand stops when you pull out the crown to adjust the time, and hand winding is an absolute treat. Now again, staying true to its heritage, this watch comes with a thick black calf leather strap with rivets. The quality of this strap is unbeatable at this price. It's super soft, super supple, and will certainly last you a long time. As a true Flieger or pilot's watch, Laco does an amazing job staying true to its heritage. And even though the Laco Wine 42mm may not appeal to some, especially those that are looking for a little bit of pizzazz in their watches, the brand offers a huge catalog of different options when it comes to case sizes, materials, dial layouts, and movements. So there's something for everybody. Plus, one thing I like about them is that they're very transparent when it comes to their movements. You're getting tried and tested workhorse movements from three of the biggest movement suppliers, Miura, ETA, and Solida, and the optionality to choose between the decorated or undecorated and the basic or the higher end versions. Of course, all of these different options come at different price points, so that kind of flexibility allows Laco to stand at a very unique position when it comes to watch brands. So again, if you're looking for a true pilot's watch, head over to Red Army Watches website and don't forget to use the discount code ABDULLAHCHANG. Again, I'll link everything down in the description below. So that's it from me. Hit that notification bell, hit that like, hit the subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.